In our last episode, you remember, Wossamotta's football future looked very dim. First, Boris Baranov's Mud City Manglers had intimidated the referee.
Intimidated? Heck, I'm terrified.
Then they had turned their defensive game into trench warfare, complete with barbed wire and gun emplacements. And to make matters even worse, Boris had stolen all of Wossamotta's plays.
Natasha, now I think I'll take up smoking cigars.
Why now?
So I can light one with these football plays.
Other people use $100 bill, darling.
Right now, these are worth $1 million.
Yes, they were, for Boris had made hundreds of bets on the game in illegal gambling joints all over the nation.
Hey, Manny, it looks like that girls' team is going to beat Wossamotta, you.
Don't worry, Lefty. I'm prepared.
You're going to pay off?
You kidding? You see that emergency box on the wall?
In case of disaster, break glass. What's inside, money?
Nope, a one-way ticket to Brazil.
At that moment, the referee raised his pistol to signify the end of the first half. Lying flat on the ground, our heroes were safe momentarily, but the spectators in the end zone didn't make out as well.
Manny, the Mud City Manglers just shot away the end of the stadium. What do you say to that?
Adios, amigos. Boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, boom, boom.
When our heroes finally made it under fire to their dressing room, gloom was written on every face.
Except mine. I got despair written on mine.
If only they hadn't stolen our football plays.
Well, they left these in their place.
Bullwinkle, those aren't football plays. Those are battle plans for the Civil War.
War between the states, you mean?
Colonel Beauregard, you hear?
Us members of the League of Confederate Correctors is everywhere.
I've noticed.
I just can't abide the word civil.
Well, here, maybe you'd like to have these plans.
My pleasure. Chancellorsville. There was a battle. What a cavalry charge.
Looks more like an end run to me.
Bullwinkle, that's it. If the Manglers are going to use battle tactics on the gridiron, why can't we?
Why can't we?
Bullwinkle, you've done it again.
Come up with a brilliant plan and like that.
Yes, sir.
Now there's just that one little question.
Yeah?
What is it?
This is the plan. Instead of football plays, we're going to use the battle plans of the... I was going to say war between the states.
Us Confederate correctors can never be too sure.
And so when the whistle blew for the second half of the game, it was a strange-looking team that emerged from the Wossamotta U dressing room.
Look at them fellas, Roof. They gonna fight the war all over again.
Shucks, we Southerners been doing that for years.
The ball was snapped and Bullwinkle commanded.
By the right flank, ho!
Well, the game started up again, but this time the Mud City Manglers were no match for the military genius of the flower of the Confederacy. In one great flanking motion, the Wossamotta team turned the end of the line and swept down the field.
Bullwinkle, you did it! There's the goal, just ahead!
Yay!
Bullwinkle, why are you stopping?
Which direction are we running in, Corporal?
Well, south, of course.
South, eh? I thought so. These plans call for us to go north.
And Bullwinkle turned and began dashing toward his own goal line. On he went, swivel-hipping his way through the opposition.
Dag nabbit, you said civil.
All right, war between the states, hipping his way through the opposition. Oh, what can save the game for our boys?
Maybe we could get some new writers.
Don't miss our next historical episode, Bullwinkle Buys a Fence, or Pickett's Charge.
Junior, what are you doing?
I just chopped down this old tree, Dad.
Yeah, I noticed that, but why?
'Cause my girl and I have broken up.
That is no reason to chop down a tree.
Well, you see, I carved our initials on this tree last Valentine's Day, and I don't want to have to look at them anymore.
How do you know she won't come back? Remember the old saying, he who loses faith loses all.
How did you know my girl's name was Faith?
I didn't, but I do know a fable that would help you to face the facts a little more clearly. It's called The French Poodle and the Alley Cat. Years ago, not very far from here, there stood a tiny village named Barrel City. The reason it was called Barrel City was because clothes not having been invented yet, its citizens wore barrel.
My, that's a stunning barrel. Cracker or lard? Pickle. My, it is a dilly.
Wearing barrels had its disadvantages, however. Not only was it difficult sitting down, but everyone's barrel looked alike. That is, until a French poodle, out to seek his fortune, opened a paint shop.
I will paint my way to the pinnacle of success.
Well, sir, that started a fad. By the end of the week, everyone in Barrel City was sporting a different colored barrel, painted by the French poodle, who in turn became the fashion leader of the community.
Here, madame and messieurs, we have my latest creation. A polka-dot barrel with matching holes and a cerise ribbon draped around the slats. Breathtaking, n'est-ce pas?
Both the poodle and his shop continued to prosper until one fine day, a seedy-looking alley cat wandered into Barrel City and had the misfortune to pass beneath a window ledge upon which rested a flower pot containing one petunia.
Look at that stunning hat!
Word spread like wildfire throughout the city that a new style of headgear had been created. The cat, quick to seize the opportunity, bought all the flower pots in town and rented a dilapidated rundown shack that happened to be right next door to the poodle's barrel shop.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Goose.
Bonjour to you.
I suppose you're in the market for a new barrel.
Quite the contrary. The new rage is flower pot hats.
If this keeps up, I will be the Rupp-Banked.
That night, under the cover of darkness, the poodle, carrying a can of gunpowder, stole into the alley cat's hat shack. Striking a match, he lit the fuse.
That should take care of him.
But with the dawn came the sad realization that a slight faux pas had been committed, for instead of blowing up the cat shop, he had blown up his own.
Are you having a fire sale this week?
You little stinker, you are the cause of all this. But let the bygones be the bygones. Therefore, I would like to cement our friendship.
That's okay by me.
Bon. Now, in case you did not know, you have become quite famous, and people who are famous put their footprints in cement. Step into this bucket.
The cat did, and the cement hardened fast.
Tell me this. Can you swim?
Oh, sure.
With a bucket full of cement on your feet?
Oh, no.
That is all I want to know.
Wasting no further time, he dragged the helpless cat to the riverbank and pushed him in.
Au revoir!
So I got a little bad news for you, Poodle. That river's been dry for years.
Calamity followed calamity, for the townsfolk had seen the cat clomping along in his bucket full of cement, and this too caused a sensation. 2 days later, everyone was wearing this new type of shoe.
That does it. I might just as well kill myself.
But he didn't have to, for the townsfolk suddenly decided to hold a fashion contest, and the one who came up with the most ingenious design would get a contract that would set him up for life.
Good luck, Poodle.
This is my last chance.
The poodle worked feverishly and by morning had devised a new type of summer dress, which was in reality a flat tire with a moldy shower curtain hanging from it. But the alley cat was equal to the occasion, for he had created a hat consisting of a saddle studded with horse chestnuts. The poodle took one look, gasped.
Gasp!
And knew he'd run a poor second. But there was still time to act, for if he could ruin the hat before the judge saw it, he might still be victorious. There on a long banquet table sat a large vat of beef stew, but it didn't sit there long. Well, sir, you'd never believe what happened. That cat still believed that his creation, even covered with beef stew, was still a winner. And he was right.
Some fable, Pop.
Well, I think it does prove that he who loses faith loses everything.
It also proves something else.
What?
If the stew fits, wear it.
That loud wailing noise you hear is the sobbing of thousands of bookmakers all over the country. For every one of these illegal gamblers bet that unbeaten Wossamotta U would trounce a girls' team known as the Mud City Manglers, little realizing that the Manglers were owned by Boris Badenov and had been coached by fearless leader himself.
Hold that line, fellows.
Oh, they won't retreat, Badenov.
How can you be sure?
The second team is right behind them, with bayonets.
What?
See?
The hapless bookies watched as the Manglers held Wossamotta U scoreless for the first half.
I'll never make another bet again as long as I live.
3-1 you do.
You're on.
You lose.
Things looked a little brighter for our boys when Rocky decided to play the game according to some old battle plans of the war between the states.
Now you're talking, Yankee.
But even this idea backfired when Bullwinkle decided to take the plan seriously.
But Bullwinkle...
Colonel Moose to you, Corporal.
Oh, boy.
What direction are we heading?
South?
You mean south?
Yeah, south. So what?
This here plan says we march north. North it is.
And with flags flying, Bullwinkle began running toward his own goal line.
Again?
Disaster was imminent, but as fate would have it, the clock suddenly marked the end of the quarter.
What's the trouble?
Now the teams change goals. Moose is now running in right direction.
Yes, at that moment, Bullwinkle dashed into the end zone for a touchdown.
Hooray! That's 6 points.
But the referee, who was under some pressure, decided...
No, only 3 points.
3.
It's a handicap. After all, you're playing an all-girl team.
Yous wouldn't want to take advantage of a lady, would yous?
But you're not a lady.
Sir, yous is a cat.
Penalty on the play.
About time. How many yards do we get?
I'm penalizing Wossamotta 30 yards, insulting a lady.
Yeah, but that puts us behind our own goal line. That's a touchback.
Right, 3 points for Mud City.
3 points.
They get an extra point for being girls.
Bullwinkle, we can't win.
That's the general idea, Squirrel.
And who are you?
I'm the leader of the all-girl team.
You are?
I'm the field Spitalny of the gridiron.
Yeah, but those aren't really girls.
I know that. You know that. But does the referee know that?
Do you know that?
All I know is this fella behind me has a gun aimed right at my 50-yard line.
Bullwinkle, that fella's intimidating a referee.
Not very well. He doesn't look like one at all.
No, I mean he's threatening that poor little guy's life.
Well, that does it, Rock. Now my dandruff is up. Give me those battle plans. Ladies or no ladies, this is war.
And it was. In the next 10 minutes, Wossamotta U replayed the entire last 2 years of the Civil War.
War between the states.
And this time the South won.
In that case, you can call it the Civil War.
Yes, just before the final gun sounded, Rocky flashed into the clear and zoomed for the goal line.
Bullwinkle, pass it to me. Ollie!
But that was the moment Boris Badenov had been waiting for. He quickly seized a large rock, painted it to look like a football, and hurled it right at the unsuspecting squirrel. Oh, don't miss our next heart-stopping episode, A Rock for Rock, or To Each His Stone.
For those of you who lack horse sense, here is Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, racing fans. Today's topic is entitled, How to Do Stunts in the Movies Without Having the Usher Throw You Out. You arrive at the studio and get the first assignment from the director.
You all set to go, stuntman?
I sure am, CB.
Here is scene. You start car blows up.
With me in it?
Absolutely, of course not. We stop film, you get out, then car blows up. Got it?
Got it.
Camera, action. Take 2.
War pictures offer a great challenge to the stuntman, especially if you're chicken.
Comes now big bombing scene. Dummy is in foxhole. Bombs fall all around. You rush into foxhole, get dummy.
Got it, TW.
Camera, action.
Right out onto no man's land you run. Bombs busting to the right and to the left. Somehow you make it. Leap into the foxhole, fight off the foxes, and emerge with the dummy, which is a bomb, and you are the dummy. Before the day is through, you find yourself on a 5,000-foot high cliff.
In this scene, you jump off cliff into net.
Comforted by the thought of the safety net below, you launch yourself earthward. The net is there, all right, but no one is holding it. And so in conclusion, to be a stuntman, one must always be careful to avoid painful injury.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
You're welcome.
heart of the northwest Canadian woods, a mysterious character wearing a cap and puttees was seen skulking.
There will be no skulking in these woods, sir.
So who's skulking? I'm looking for talent.
In the northwest Canadian woods, talent for what?
For Majestic Pictures. I'm looking for a new matinee idol for the movies.
What's a movie?
Oh, I forgot you people are so remote out here, you haven't seen a movie before.
I haven't seen a movie because there is no such thing, and you, sir, are skulking.
So as I was trying to tell this Mountie, sir, I am a talent scout for Majestic Pictures, and I'm looking for the new silent matinee idol, a man who is brave, stalwart, handsome, strong.
I'm your man.
Trustworthy, cute. Say, this is him. Look at that profile.
Why, that's Snidely Whiplash.
Snidely Whiplash, eh? Has a nice ring to it. Good box office, just the man I'm looking for.
He's just the man we're looking for, too.
Majestic Pictures can do much more for him than you can, sir. Don't stand in the way of the boy's career. You haven't signed him to a contract yet, have you?
Not exactly. You see, he's the most wanted man in Canada.
And I can see why, too. That chiseled nose, that firm chin. Where can I get a hold of this boy?
Do you suppose we would be standing here if we knew?
Hard to get, eh? Well, I must have that boy.
But how can you, a mere flatlander, hope to get Snidely Whiplash when the Royal Canadian Mounties have been trying to get him for years? What do you have that we haven't?
Money?
Inspector Fenwick?
Yes, Dudley?
What's a movie?
And Majestic will make me a star?
That's right, Snidely, baby. You will be the idol of millions. Sign right here, sweetie.
Halt! In the name of the RCMP, I have come, Snidely Whiplash, to bring you in because the Mounties always get their man.
Well, you're not getting this man. I just signed him to a 15-year contract with options.
Gee, 15 years. That's a pretty stiff sentence.
Snidely Whiplash went to Hollywood to star in silent movies. Overnight, he became a sensation. He was known as Snidely Whiplash, the Great Profile. He introduced the tango, which swept the country. Everybody was doing his famous tango. However, in northern Canada, Snidely Whiplash laid a bomb, mainly because the people there had never seen a movie. But his absence was sorely felt by members of the RCMP. They were becoming disenchanted.
Without Snidely Whiplash, Inspector, there's no incentive to being a Mountie. The Mounties have lost their goal in life. Why, to bring in Snidely Whiplash was the dream of every young Canadian boy.
I know, Dudley, but we must go on somehow. But on the brighter side, a new movie house has been constructed in town. Why don't we run over and take in a movie, Dudley?
What's a movie? You are under arrest, Snidely Whiplash, in the name of the Mounted Police.
Oh, come, Dudley, it's only a movie.
So that's a movie. It seemed so real, Inspector. There he was, arch-villain Snidely Whiplash.
Oh, Dudley, I hate to be a nag, but don't you think just occasionally you could bring in a man?
With Snidely Whiplash gone, they just don't seem important enough to bother with.
But then the one thing happened that none of them had foreseen. Talkies.
Oh, Snidely, tell me again that you care for me. A little.
May, I would move heaven and earth for you. I would swim the deepest river, scale the highest mountain. Why are they laughing at Snidely, Inspector?
It's the voice, Dudley, can't you see? The voice is so funny.
I don't find that it's funny at all. In fact, I think he has rather a pleasant voice.
Well, Dudley, I think this washes up Snidely Whiplash in Hollywood.
I certainly don't see why.
But you can't tear up my contract. I'm a star. And besides, my 15 years aren't up yet.
You didn't read the fine print, Snidely, baby. It says, quote, in the event of talkies, if the party of the first part, that's you, talks in any manner, way, or form like Dudley Do-Right, the party of the second part, that's us, has the option to tear up the contract.
Curses foiled again. That's what happens by associating with a do-right. You do wrong.
So Snidely Whiplash had to return to northern Canada with no more than when he left, except a scrapbook. There were no cheering crowds, no band, no welcoming committee. Just one lonely figure standing on the platform. Dudley Do-Right.
Well, Dudley, I suppose you want to bring me in.
Why, no, Mr. Whiplash. All I want is your autograph.
quarter of the episode, our heroes were right on the verge of winning their game with the Mud City Manglers, or losing it, as the case may be. For Rocky the Flying Squirrel had just zoomed into the clear of the goal line and shouted back at Bullwinkle.
A forward pass, Bullwinkle! Hurry!
Oop! But the oop had come from Boris Badenoff, who had thrown not a football, but a cleverly disguised rock.
Would you like a nice squirrel coat, fearless leader?
You got one, Badenoff?
No, but I know somebody who won't be needing one in a minute.
But let us stop everything right here and change our scene to an emergency meeting of the Bookmakers and Gamblers Protective Association.
Fellow bookies, I would like to take advantage of this brief moment to remind you of our untenable position.
Our what?
Our lousy setup.
Oh.
Look, the squirrel is going to get clobbered, right?
Right.
Now, if he loses the game, we got to pay off to Badenoff, right?
Right.
Wrong. There ain't enough money in the world to pay off at the odds we gave him.
So what do we do, skip town?
Would I suggest a cheap trick like skipping town?
Sorry, Mickey.
I suggest we skip the country.
Where do we go?
Yeah, who'd want crooks like us?
Follow me, boys. I know a country that'll take anybody.
But the villains had reckoned without the keen eyes and instant reflexes of our furry hero.
Hokey smokes, that's not a football!
And Rocky swiftly zipped to one side. The heavy stone passed him and plummeted right for the timid referee, who still had a gun held at his back by one of Boris's thugs.
Duck! Duck!
Hey, what's he mean, duck, duck?
Maybe there's a flock of them coming over.
Hey, that ain't no flock of ducks. That's a rock.
But where's Bullwinkle?
You called?
Yes, out of the pall and smoke and flame that covered the gridiron galloped Bullwinkle Moose, the football dangling from his antlers.
Quick, Bullwinkle! There's only a few seconds left.
Now, what do we do, Badenoff?
Relax, fearless leader.
Relax.
Shoo, Mike. Look at this diagram of the end zone.
What are the circles?
Landmines. I've mined the whole end zone.
Explosive landmines in a football field? Badenoff, that's a rotten thing to do.
I just knew you would like it, fearless leader.
Boris, I like to have you around. You're my kind of folks.
Could I call you FL?
I'm on my way up, Boris, and I'm going to take you with me.
But alas for the villain's plans, Bullwinkle dashed into the end zone, turned and galloped all the way across it, and didn't step on one mine.
Touchdown!
Yay!
6 points!
Wossamotta wins!
Yay!
So you had landmines in the end zone, eh, Badenoff?
I can't understand it, fearless leader. I could swear I had one right. Well, you were right, fearless leader. You're on the way up, and I'm going with you.
And so, Wossamotta, you finished its season unbeaten.
Only one fly in the ointment, Bullwinkle.
Well, that's about par for ointment. What is it?
I didn't like all those gamblers escaping to some other country.
If Rocky had only known the bookie's boat was even then approaching its destination.
Well, there it is, man. Potsylvania.
And look, there's a reception committee to meet us.
Hey, Charlie, if I ever get you 10, we goofed.
Bet heavily, Schweinhund. It's a sure thing.
And so we come to the end of another fun-filled episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
You know, Rock, he sure got some funny ideas about fun.
Time again for Bullwinkle's Corner. Hello there. Today's poem is called Taffy. Taffy was a Welshman. Taffy was a thief.
You ain't kidding, Governor.
Taffy came to my house and stole a piece of beef. Hey, that's a whole cow.
So I'm petting my part a little.
I went to Taffy's house. Taffy wasn't home. Taffy went to my house and stole a marrow bone. Marrow bone, that's a whole leg of lamb. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy wasn't in.
You can't read. Sign says out.
I know you're in there. I can hear you breathing. Taffy went to my house and stole a silver pin. That's a pin?
Just poetic license.
Went to Taffy's house. Taffy in bed took up Marrowbone, hit him in the head. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy was in bed. And do you know what the last line is?
Of course. Took up Marrowbone and hit him in the head. What do you know? Unhappy ending.